Hi, everybody. Russ on the West Ham Network. Hope you are all safe and well. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. We're getting through this week. We are getting through it. Feels like I'm walking through treacle this week, I'll be honest. But we are approaching Saturday, 5:30 kickoff, Newcastle, St James's Park. Oh, dear. But we'll have all the previews, all the watch-alongs, all the opposition views coming out in the next day or so. Obviously, we'll have the press conference as well with the Association with Football London. And John T. Coleman's exclusive sort of take on the press conference as soon as he leaves. He'll be in his car outside Rush Green, giving us a little video as always. But I think it'll be quite an interesting press conference, not only with the Newcastle game in mind, but obviously with the damp squib that was the transfer deadline day. And players leaving and nothing coming in to replace them. So it'd be interesting. I'm sure there'll be some questions about that asked of David Moyes. But let's look forward. Let's look forward to the. Can you look forward? Yeah, let's look forward to the game on Saturday. In terms of Newcastle, we spoke obviously Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno. Bruno, no. Won't need to talk about him because he'll be suspended for the game on Saturday, having got a red card. It was changed from a yellow card on VAR to a full red card and missed the next 3 games, which obviously includes Saturday's clash with the Hammers. But Newcastle will be without apparently 5 players for their clash against the Hammers, and that's according to the injury expert Ben Dearney. Obviously, we've got Bruno's red card. Javier Manquero is not expected to return until March, which could mean that they signed a right back. Newcastle did at the transfer deadline day. I think he might be on the bench. He's a Scottish under-21 international. Keeping out, he's probably got a good future ahead of him. Harrison Ashby, I believe his name is. He'll probably be on the bench. They reckon also that Alexander Isaac, who went off with a slight knock, he's going to be return. He probably won't be returning for the Newcastle game, for the West Ham game, but maybe the week after. Matt Targett, Emerald Craft are both long-term absentees for Eddie Howe's side, and as we said, could have the added spice of Harrison Ashby being on the bench. Now, in terms of West Ham, now obviously we know we've at the moment only have Mikel Antonio as our only fit striker. But good news was Gianluca Scamacca had his final knee injection ahead of his West Ham return. But obviously uncertainty when he'll be available for selection. Obviously we're gearing up for Saturday's game against Newcastle. And some say maybe some green shoots with back-to-back 2-0 wins. Granted, the opposition we've played is Everton and Derby, but you can only beat us in front of you. But it's difficult to gauge any improvement until we play someone like Newcastle, to be honest. And obviously, the next 3 games are very, very tough as well. 90 Minutes claimed there were ongoing concerns with Scamacca's injury. The extent of the problem being kept under wraps by West Ham, apparently. But Scamacca took to social media last week to deny those claims, saying he had a picture with a fire emoji and says, soon back or back soon, something like that. So, he took to Instagram to say, I'm going to be back soon. And apparently he's been receiving a course of treatment for his knee injury, which includes PRP injections, platelet-rich plasma injections. I'm sure you all know that acronym. And they are basically injected to form a sort of a medicine within the knee, basically using the to simple terms, he's having his medicine in his knee, but you inject it and the medicine turns it with the blood. There you go. If I was explaining it to a 2-year-old, that's what happens. His blood platelets make the medicine. I don't know how it works. And apparently that accelerates the healing process. So it's not like an injection, I remember Andy Carroll used to always have an injection before he went to play. And that was to sort of almost numb the pain, so to speak. It was like a pain injection. This is an injection to aid healing. There we go. And he has 3 injections, each a week apart. And he had his final injection yesterday ahead of his West Ham return. Moyes said in his press conference last week that he was fine, that Gianluca's fine. He's just, he's having his injections and we'll see what happens. But his feeling was he's okay. And the 3rd injection will just keep that course of treatment going. And then, I think, in all honesty, he's earmarked for the Chelsea game next Saturday, and I think that would be probably wise. I don't think they'll risk him on Saturday. I think the Chelsea game next Saturday at home will be a bit more more likely. And that's alongside Maxwell Cornet. Obviously, returned to training on Monday. He's been in France recovering from this unusual injury that's no one's ever heard of. This bloke's only heard once. He's a specialist in 25 years. But he'll need at least a couple of weeks before being available to selection. So I don't think Chelsea will be the game. Maybe the Spurs game, maybe the Forest game, probably most likely, I'd say. And obviously, Danny Ings probably will be back for the Spurs game. That's what they have estimated. But you never know. One player who's maybe thinking about his future is Manu Lanzini. He's played 15 times in all competitions this season. And 8 of them have been in the Conference League. He's got a deal with the club until June. And reports have been regularly talking about the possibility of him returning back to River Plate. Now, his dad, Hector Lanzini, appeared as a guest on Radio Lared to talk about his son's future, and his comments have been relayed by TYC Sports. He basically backed his son to be joining the Argentinian side after this season. He was quoted in saying, "We are all River fans and partners. The whole family. Sitting there and seeing Manu will be a pride. Sharing it again, even with my oldest grandson. Then there is a problem here. That is social. Living in a different country with economic problems and insecurity, but putting River Plate shirts back on is a dream for the whole family." Now, David Moyes does have an option to extend Manu's contract by 2 more years in terms of a 2-year option, apparently. But Lanzini Senior is unaware whether the Hammers plan to extend his son's contract, saying he's at West Ham. His contract ends in June, and the club has the power to renew for 2 more years. The club is excellent. I just came here from Europe. He has some chances to go elsewhere, but the league is very competitive. Most of them are limited companies. There are no financial problems, and that helps individual growth. I don't do futurology. I don't know what the leaders of the club will think. So the possibility of him returning back to River Plate doesn't depend on only his desire. By all accounts, obviously, it's both parties, whether West Ham choose to exercise that 2-year option. I don't know if he will, to be honest. He just says he has a desire to return to the River Plate. As a family, I'll be the happiest guy in the world if I see my son play again at River. But there are other issues, and obviously the fact of going back to Argentina, the security issues, economic issues. Maybe it's he's got a young family. Apparently, TY Sports contacted River Plate. TY Sports state that River Plate have contacted Manu Lanzini, but it was difficult for him to leave in the winter transfer because West Ham wanted compensation, which makes perfect sense. So if he were to be released at the end of the season, he and West Ham didn't renew his contract and he left. The idea is his first choice is River Plate. So by all accounts, they did try and tentatively try and get Manu in January, but he's still got 6 months left for his contract. So West Ham wanted some compensation for that. And fair enough, I'd say. And that's it. So take care. Tomorrow we'll have our lunchtime, 12:30 UK time. We'll have our phone-in show. We'll also have all the press conference stuff. We'll have the Late Show from Irish Tommy, some opposition chats, and then we'll have the previews on Saturday. The predicted 11s, your predicted 11 as well as the watch-alongs, and then obviously after that, the review shows, the final word, all that type of stuff, the ratings on Monday, all that good stuff. So take care, everyone. Stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, keep the faith, my friends, and we'll see you guys very soon. Ta-ta.